The deep space monitoring station was quiet except for the soft beeping of computers and the gentle hum of life support systems. Tom Baker sat at his station, sipping his third cup of coffee while watching the endless stream of data flow across his screens. He had done this job for 15 years, and nothing interesting ever happened at the edge of human space. That was about to change. A red light started flashing on his console. Tom nearly spilled his coffee as he set it down and leaned forward. The sensors had picked up something big, really big, and it wasn't following any known patterns of movement. He double-checked the readings, then triple-checked them. What he was seeing couldn't be real. "Control, this is Baker at Station 7, he said into his communicator. "You need to see this." Within hours, the United Earth Ship Observer changed course to investigate the anomaly. Captain James Walker stood on the bridge, his weathered face reflecting the soft blue light of the holographic displays around him. He had commanded the Observer for 8 years, but this was different from any mission he'd handled before. "Report," Walker said, his voice steady despite the tension in the air. Lieutenant Rogers looked up from her station. "Sir, the object is approximately 30 kilometers long. It's not moving, but—" She paused, frowning at her readings. "Sir, the energy signatures don't make any sense." Walker walked over to her station. "Explain." "The object appears to be generating massive amounts of energy, but we can't detect any fuel source or exhaust. It's creating energy from nothing." That was impossible. Everyone knew you couldn't create energy from nothing. It was one of the most basic laws of physics. Walker had learned that in school, long before he'd ever dreamed of commanding a spaceship. "Show me," he ordered. The main screen lit up with a visual of the object. It was clearly a ship, but unlike anything humans had ever built. Its hull was dark gray and seemed to shimmer slightly, as if it wasn't quite solid. Parts of it appeared to fade in and out of existence, yet the overall structure remained stable. "Get me a closer look," Walker said. As the observer moved closer, more details became visible. The strange ship had what looked like weapon ports along its sides, but they were oddly shaped. Its hull was covered in patterns that might have been writing, but they seemed to shift and change when viewed directly. "Sir," Rogers called out, "we're picking up more unusual readings. Parts of the ship appear to exist in more than one place at the same time." Walker rubbed his temples. This day was getting stranger by the minute. "Contact Earth Command. They need to know about this." The response from Earth Command came faster than anyone expected. Within minutes, Admiral Stone's face appeared on the main screen. The old admiral looked more serious than usual. "Walker, you're to investigate that ship immediately. Send in a first contact team. But be careful. If what you're seeing is real, this could be the most important discovery in human history." The first contact team assembled in the shuttle bay. They wore their newest exploration suits, each one worth more than what Walker earned in 5 years. Leading the team was Dr. Mark Wells, the Observer's chief scientist. He had been studying alien technology for 20 years, but even he looked nervous. "Remember," Walker told the team, "we don't know what we're dealing with. At the first sign of danger, you pull out. That's an order." The team's shuttle approached the massive ship carefully. Up close, it was even more impressive. The hull seemed to ripple like water in sunlight, but it was clearly solid when the team's sensors probed it. "Captain," Dr. Wells radioed back, "we found what appears to be an entrance. It's inviting us in." "Explain," Walker said. "A door just opened. We didn't do anything. It just opened on its own. And there's atmosphere inside." Walker didn't like this, but they had their orders. "Proceed with caution." The team entered the ship. Their helmet cameras showed long corridors that seemed to stretch forever. The walls were covered in the same shifting patterns they'd seen outside. The air was breathable, and all their instruments showed it was safe. "This is incredible," Dr. Wells reported. "The technology level here is far beyond anything we've ever seen. The ship appears to be fully powered, but we can't find any engine room or power source. It's like the whole ship is generating energy somehow. As the team moved deeper into the ship, they found more mysteries. Rooms that were bigger on the inside than they appeared from outside. Doors that led to the same place, no matter which direction you walked through them. Gravity that changed direction without warning, yet somehow felt natural. "Captain," Dr. Wells called, his voice excited. "We've found what appears to be a bridge or control center. And, sir, it looks like it was made for humans." "That's impossible," Walker said. "How could it be made for humans? The seats, the controls, they're all sized for human bodies. But this ship is clearly not human technology. It's centuries, maybe thousands of years ahead of us." Walker was about to respond when alarms started blaring throughout the observer. Lieutenant Rogers' voice was tense as she reported, "Sir, the ship is doing something. We're detecting massive energy spikes." The strange ship's hull began glowing with a soft blue light. Patterns of energy danced across its surface, and for a moment, it seemed to exist in multiple places at once. "Get the team out of there now," Walker ordered. "Sir," Dr. Wells replied, "we can't leave yet. The ship, it's showing us something. Some kind of message. I think it was waiting for us." Walker watched as his sensors showed the impossible ship settling back to normal, or what passed for normal with this thing. The energy readings stabilized, though they still defied every law of physics he knew. "Dr. Wells, explain what you mean by a message." "Captain, there's a data stream being transmitted to our devices. It's in perfect English, sir." The first line reads, "To those who have proven worthy." Walker sat back in his command chair, knowing that this moment would change everything. Humanity had just inherited something that shouldn't exist, a ship that broke the laws of physics, a weapon that defied logic, and a mystery that would reshape their understanding of the universe. The next few hours would determine whether they were ready for such a responsibility. As he looked at the massive ship through his viewport, Walker couldn't shake the feeling that they were being tested. And somehow, he knew that this was only the beginning. Marcus Reed couldn't believe what he was seeing. As the Observer's lead engineer, he had spent 20 years studying spacecraft systems, but nothing had prepared him for this. He stood in what should have been the engine room of the mysterious ship, but there were no engines. Instead, the vast chamber was filled with crystalline structures that seemed to pulse with inner light. "This doesn't make any sense," he muttered, running his scanner over one of the crystals. The readings kept changing, as if the crystal couldn't decide what it was made of. Sometimes it appeared solid, sometimes it registered as pure energy, and sometimes it didn't register at all. Dr. Alice Thompson stood nearby, her usual calm replaced by excited energy. As the team's quantum physicist, she was perhaps the only person who might understand what they were seeing. "Marcus, look at this," she called out, pointing to her tablet. "The energy patterns, they're not random. They're moving between different states of reality." Marcus walked over to look at her readings. The numbers and patterns made his head hurt. "What do you mean, different states of reality?" "I think," Alice paused, trying to find simple words for a complex idea. "I think this ship is drawing power from other universes. It's like, imagine a cup being filled from many different taps at once. Each tap is another universe." Their conversation was interrupted by a loud bang from somewhere deeper in the ship. Both scientists jumped. "What was that?" Marcus asked. They found the source of the noise in a nearby room. A heavy wrench lay on the floor, the same wrench Marcus had left in his tool belt 5 minutes ago. As they watched, the wrench flickered and vanished, only to reappear on a workbench across the room. "That's not possible," Marcus said, but he was getting tired of saying those words. Everything about this ship was impossible. Alice checked her instruments. Time is moving differently in different parts of the ship. In this room, it's flowing like water around rocks in a stream. That's why tools and objects keep shifting position. More strange things began happening as they explored deeper into the ship. They found rooms that contained perfect copies of themselves, working on equipment that hadn't been touched yet. They discovered corridors that led to the same place, no matter which direction they walked. In one chamber, they watched in amazement as a broken panel fixed itself, the pieces moving backward through time until it was whole again. Captain Walker's voice came through their communicators. "Report, team. What are you finding down there?" Alice answered, trying to keep her voice steady. "Captain, this ship, it's not just advanced technology. It's like the builders found a way to ignore the rules of physics completely. They've mastered space, time, and dimensional barriers in ways we thought were impossible." "Can we use it?" Walker asked. "Can we learn from it?" Marcus spoke up. "Sir, the technology is far beyond us. But," he paused, looking at a control panel that had just rearranged itself to match human specifications. "But I think the ship is trying to teach us." The next few hours were a blur of discovery and confusion. Marcus and Alice found what appeared to be a database, but its contents kept changing. Sometimes it showed technical specifications, sometimes it displayed star maps of unknown galaxies, and sometimes it showed what looked like historical records of a civilization they'd never heard of. "Look at this," Alice called out, pointing to a section of text that had just appeared. "It says the builders were facing some kind of threat. They built this ship as a kind of ark, not to save their people, but to save their knowledge." Marcus was about to respond when all the lights in the ship suddenly dimmed. The crystalline structures in the engine room began pulsing with a new pattern. "Something's happening," he said. Alice checked her readings and gasped. "The ship's power systems are shifting. It's like it's trying to wake up." Deep within the ship, they found a chamber they hadn't seen before. The walls were covered in flowing patterns of light, and in the center was a dark sphere about the size of a basketball. As they approached, the sphere began to glow. "This must be the ship's AI core," Marcus said, his engineering instincts kicking in despite the strangeness of everything around them. "But it's dormant. Look at these connections. They're not active." Alice studied the patterns on the walls. "These symbols, they're changing to match our writing system. The ship is adapting to us." They worked for hours, trying to understand the AI core. Every time they thought they had figured something out, the ship would show them something new. Tools would appear exactly when they needed them, only to vanish again when they were done. Rooms would rearrange themselves to help them work more efficiently. "It's like the ship is alive," Marcus said, wiping sweat from his forehead. "Not just the AI, the whole ship. It's watching us, learning from us, trying to help us understand it." Their work was interrupted by an urgent call from Captain Walker. "Team, we've got a situation. Our long-range sensors just picked up multiple ships heading our way. They're not human, and they're moving fast." Alice looked at Marcus, her face pale. "We need to figure this out quickly. Whatever's coming. I don't think they're friendly." Marcus turned back to the AI core, his mind racing. They had inherited something incredible, a ship that broke every rule they thought they understood about the universe. But with that inheritance came danger. Someone else knew about this ship, and they were coming to claim it. As if responding to their thoughts, the ship's systems began to change again. The AI core pulsed with new energy, and the walls displayed what looked like weapon systems and defense protocols. The ship was preparing for battle. "Captain," Marcus called, "I think the ship knows we're in danger. It's trying to show us how to defend ourselves." In the darkness of space, the observer's crew watched as the mysterious ship's hull began to shimmer with new energy. Whatever was coming for them, they would face it with technology that defied logic, if they could learn to use it in time. The incoming ships appeared on the observer's main screen as 12 red dots, moving in perfect formation. Captain Walker stood at his command station, watching as the unknown fleet approached. They were still hours away, but already they had broadcast their first message, a demand that made his blood run cold. "Play it again," Walker ordered, and Lieutenant Rogers activated the message. A deep voice filled the bridge, speaking in perfect English. Attention human vessel. You have discovered forbidden technology. The ship in your possession belongs to the Dominion. Surrender it immediately or face destruction. You have 1 hour to comply. Walker looked at the mysterious warship floating beside them. In just 2 days, it had shown them wonders beyond imagination, but they had barely scratched its surface. Now these aliens, this Dominion, wanted to take it away. "Sir," Rogers said, "they're powering up weapons. Energy readings are off the charts." Down in the engine room of the mysterious ship, Marcus and Alice worked frantically to understand its systems. The ship seemed to sense their urgency. Displays flickered to life showing weapon systems and defense capabilities that shouldn't have been possible. "Look at this," Marcus said, pointing to a screen where complex patterns swirled. "The ship doesn't just have shields. It can phase parts of itself into different dimensions to avoid damage completely." Alice studied another display, her eyes wide. "And these weapons, they don't just fire energy beams. They can create localized time distortions. They could make a missile explode before it's even fired, or age an enemy ship's hull until it falls apart." The ship's systems hummed around them, showing more and more of its capabilities. But everything they saw only raised more questions. How could they use weapons they barely understood? How could they control a ship that seemed to operate on its own rules of physics? Captain Walker's voice came through their communicators. "Time's running out. Please tell me you have something we can use." Before they could answer, new alarms blared throughout both ships. The Dominion fleet had launched its first attack, a spread of missiles that moved far faster than any human weapon. Braced for impact, Walker shouted, but the missiles never reached them. The mysterious ship moved on its own, its hull rippling with energy. A field of distorted space appeared around both vessels, and the missiles simply vanished. They didn't explode or break apart. They ceased to exist as if they had never been fired at all. "What just happened?" Walker demanded. Marcus checked the readings in front of him. "The ship, it didn't just stop those missiles, Captain. It erased them from time itself. They never reached us because, in this timeline, they were never launched." The Dominion ships paused their advance, seemingly surprised by this defense. Then their leader's voice came again, this time with an edge of fear. "You do not understand what you meddle with. That vessel was built by the ancestors. Its power was deemed too dangerous to exist. Surrender it now, or we will be forced to take more drastic measures." Walker opened a channel to respond. "This ship chose to reveal itself to us. If your ancestors built it, they meant for someone to find it. We won't give up this gift just because you are afraid of it." The Dominion's response was immediate and devastating. Their ships split apart, surrounding the observer and the mysterious vessel in a perfect sphere of firepower. Energy beams lanced out from all directions, filling space with deadly light. But once again, the mysterious ship acted to protect them. Its hull shifted and changed, becoming almost transparent at times, letting the enemy fire pass harmlessly through as if shooting at a ghost. "Captain," Alice called over the comm, "the ship is showing us something. It's not just a weapon. It's a key to understanding the universe in ways we never imagined. The Dominion doesn't want to protect the galaxy from this technology. They want to keep it for themselves." Inside the ship's AI core chamber, displays came to life, showing the true history of the vessel. The ancestors hadn't disappeared. They had been attacked by the same forces that now called themselves the Dominion. They had built this ship as their last act, hiding it away until they found worthy successors who could use its power responsibly. Marcus watched as more of the ship's systems activated, responding to their presence. "Captain, I think I know why the ship chose us. The ancestors built it to recognize potential, not just technological advancement, but wisdom and responsibility. It was waiting for a species that would use its power to protect, not conquer." The Dominion fleet launched another attack, this time focusing all their firepower on the mysterious ship's engines. But where their sensors told them the engine room should be, they found nothing. The ship had shifted that entire section into another dimension, making it impossible to target. "Sir," Rogers reported from the observer's bridge, "they're preparing something big. Energy readings are going off the scale." The Dominion ships began to glow with building power, their weapons charging for what looked like a final, massive assault. But in the engine room of the mysterious ship, Marcus and Alice watched as new controls appeared, controls sized for human hands, with instructions in clear English. "Captain," Marcus called out, "the ship is giving us control. It's showing us exactly what to do. But the choice has to be ours. We have to prove we're worthy of its power." Walker looked at the Dominion fleet surrounding them, their weapons ready to fire. They had tried to take this gift by force, tried to keep its power for themselves. They had proven themselves unworthy of its secrets. "Do it," he ordered. Marcus and Alice activated the controls. The mysterious ship hummed with power as its systems fully awakened for the first time in centuries. Its hull became a maze of shifting light and shadow, existing in multiple dimensions at once. The Dominion fleet fired their weapons, but it was too late. The mysterious ship had already changed the rules of the battle, and with it, the future of humanity. Time seemed to slow down in the mysterious ship's AI core chamber. Alice and Marcus worked with steady hands despite the chaos of battle around them. The ship's systems had given them access to its deepest functions, but bringing its ancient eye online would be the true test of humanity's worthiness. "These connection patterns," Alice said, her fingers moving across glowing control surfaces, "they're like neural pathways. The AI isn't just a computer, it's a complete consciousness." Marcus nodded, watching as streams of data flowed through the crystalline structures around them. "The ship isn't just showing us how to wake it up, it's showing us how to merge our technology with its systems. Look at this." He pointed to a series of diagrams that had appeared on nearby walls. They showed how human computer systems could interface with the ship's quantum processors. The ship wasn't just advanced, it was designed to evolve and adapt to its users. A fresh explosion rocked both ships. Captain Walker's voice came through their communicators. "Whatever you're doing down there, do it fast. The Dominion fleet is changing formation. They're preparing for something big." The dark sphere in the center of the chamber began to pulse with a soft blue light. Patterns of energy danced across its surface, forming shapes that looked almost like letters, then shifting into complex mathematical formulas. "It's working," Alice whispered. "The AI is responding to our input. But it's not just accepting our commands. It's studying us, learning about us." The sphere suddenly expanded, filling the chamber with a gentle glow. A voice spoke, not through speakers but directly into their minds. It was neither male nor female, neither young nor old, but it carried the weight of centuries. "I am Guardian," it said, "and you have proven yourselves worthy of dialogue." Marcus stepped forward. "We need your help." The Dominion, Guardian interrupted, "are not what they claim to be. They were once servants of my creators, the ancestors. But they betrayed their masters, stealing technology they were not ready to control. Now they fear you will surpass them, as you already begin to understand what they never could." The chamber filled with holographic images showing the history Guardian spoke of. They saw great cities among the stars, watched as the ancestors built wonders that defied understanding. Then they saw the betrayal, the Dominion striking from within, using stolen weapons to destroy those who had trusted them. "The ancestors knew this might happen," Guardian continued. "They built me not just as a weapon, but as a teacher. I was hidden away until I found beings who would use my power with wisdom rather than fear." Another blast shook the ship, but this time, Guardian responded. Energy fields shifted, and the attacking weapons' fire simply ceased to exist. "Your weapons are crude," Guardian told the Dominion fleet through an open channel. "You never understood that true power comes from understanding, not merely possession." The Dominion ships launched another attack, but now Guardian was fully awake. The mysterious ship's systems came alive with new purpose. Displays throughout the vessel changed, becoming clear and readable to the human crew. "I will teach you," Guardian told Alice and Marcus. Your minds are ready. Your hearts are willing. Together, we will show the Dominion what they should have learned centuries ago. The next hour was like a dream. Guardian guided them through the ship's systems, showing them how to control weapons that bent space and time. The AI explained complex physics in simple terms, helping them understand how the ship could exist in multiple dimensions at once. Your species is young, Guardian said, but you ask the right questions. You seek to understand, not merely to possess. This is why you were chosen. Captain Walker watched from the observer's bridge as the mysterious ship transformed. Its hull now glowed with controlled power, shifting between dimensions in a precise dance. The Dominion fleet's attacks passed through empty space where the ship had been moments before. Guardian, Walker asked, can we end this without destroying them? They're wrong, but wholesale slaughter isn't the answer. The eye was silent for a moment. You continue to prove your worthiness, Captain. Yes, there is a way. The ancestors built more than weapons into this vessel. They built the power to teach, to show truth to those who hide from it. The mysterious ship began to move in ways that should have been impossible. It existed in multiple places at once, surrounding the Dominion fleet. But instead of attacking, it created a field of energy that trapped the enemy ships in a bubble of altered space-time. Now, Guardian said, they will see what their ancestors truly intended. They will understand what they have forgotten. Inside the bubble, the Dominion crews watched in awe as Guardian showed them the true history of their people. They saw how fear had led their ancestors to betray their teachers. They witnessed the cost of that betrayal, centuries of technological stagnation, as they hoarded stolen knowledge instead of learning to understand it. You have a choice, Guardian told them. Continue this path of fear and destruction, or remember what you were meant to be. The humans have shown themselves worthy of the ancestors' legacy. Will you join them in learning or persist in your ignorance? The Dominion fleet's weapons powered down. Their leader's voice, when it came, had lost its arrogance. We had forgotten. The stories we were told, they were lies meant to justify our ancestors' actions. The bubble of altered space-time dissolved. The Dominion ships remained in place, no longer hostile but uncertain of their place in a universe where everything they had believed was wrong. This is only the beginning, Guardian told the humans. There is much to learn, much to understand. The ancestors left more than just this ship. They left a legacy of knowledge waiting to be rediscovered. Together, we will find it. Alice and Marcus looked at each other, then at the displays showing the ship's incredible capabilities. This was more than just a weapon or a tool. It was a key to understanding the universe in ways humanity had only dreamed of. The journey of discovery was just beginning. The peace was temporary. 3 of the Dominion ships broke away from the fleet, their captains refusing to accept the truth Guardian had shown them. Their weapons powered up, targeting both the mysterious ship and their former allies who had stood down. They cannot accept the change in their understanding, Guardian explained. Fear has ruled them for too long. Captain Walker watched as the rebel ships launched their attack. Guardian, what options do we have? We fight. The AI responded simply. But unlike them, we fight to protect, not destroy. The mysterious ship's systems came fully online, and for the first time, the humans saw its true capabilities. The ship split into 3 perfect copies, each seemingly as solid and real as the original. The rebel captains hesitated, uncertain which target to attack. This is not an illusion, Guardian explained to the amazed human crew. The ship exists in multiple dimensional states simultaneously. I have simply made all 3 states visible in this dimension. Marcus watched the displays in the engine room, understanding dawning on his face. It's like quantum superposition on a massive scale. The ship is in multiple places at once because it exists in multiple realities at once. The rebel ships fired, their weapons blazing across space. But the mysterious ship's 3 forms moved in perfect coordination, creating overlapping defensive fields. Time around the incoming weapons slowed, then stopped, then reversed. The energy beams curved back toward their sources. "I am not destroying their weapons," Guardian said. "I am showing them the consequences of their actions in a way they can understand." The rebel captains watched in horror as their own weapons turned against them. But at the last moment, the energy beams dissipated into harmless light. The message was clear. Guardian could have destroyed them, but chose mercy instead. 2 of the rebel ships powered down their weapons. The third, commanded by the most stubborn captain, prepared for one final desperate attack. Its engines glowed as it accelerated directly toward the mysterious ship, clearly planning to ram it. "Guardian," Alice asked urgently, "can't you stop them?" "I could," the AI responded, "but sometimes understanding must come through choice, not force. Watch." The captain of the attacking vessel saw something no one else could see. Guardian had created a private window into time for him alone, showing him what would happen if he continued his attack and what would happen if he chose another path. The humans couldn't see what he saw, but they watched as his ship suddenly veered away, weapons powering down. "He has chosen wisely," Guardian said simply. With the immediate threat neutralized, Guardian turned the ship's power toward a new purpose. The vessel's hull rippled with energy as it created a stable field around both human and Dominion ships. "Now," Guardian said, "it is time for true understanding to begin." Within this field, Guardian showed them the full legacy of the ancestors. Holographic displays filled the space between the ships, showing technologies and scientific principles that humanity had never imagined. But more importantly, Guardian showed them how these advancements had been used, not for conquest or power, but for exploration and growth. The ancestors did not seek to rule, Guardian explained. They sought to learn, to understand the universe in all its complexity. Their greatest technologies were not weapons, but tools of discovery. Captain Walker watched in awe as Guardian revealed star maps showing hundreds of worlds the ancestors had visited, species they had encountered, wonders they had discovered. This was more than just advanced technology. It was a roadmap to humanity's future among the stars. "This is why the ship chose humans," Guardian continued. "Your curiosity, your desire to understand rather than simply control, these qualities mirror what the ancestors valued most. The Dominion forgot these truths, focusing only on power, but you have shown you remember what they forgot." The Dominion fleet's commander opened a channel to the human ship. His voice had lost its arrogance, replaced by something close to wonder. "We have been mistaken. For generations, we believed we were protecting the galaxy from dangerous knowledge. Now I see we were protecting only our own power." Walker responded carefully. "Knowledge isn't dangerous. It's how we use it that matters. Guardian has shown us both a better way." The commander was silent for a moment, then said, "We would learn from you, if you would teach us. Perhaps together, we can rediscover what our ancestors meant us to be." Guardian's voice filled the communications channel. "This is the purpose for which I was created, not to fight wars, but to preserve knowledge and share it with those worthy of receiving it. The humans have proven their worthiness. Now you begin to do the same." In the days that followed, human and Dominion crews worked together under Guardian's guidance. The mysterious ship revealed more of its secrets, showing them technologies that could transform both their civilizations. But more importantly, it showed them a new way of thinking about the universe and their place within it. Marcus and Alice spent countless hours with Guardian, learning principles of physics that would revolutionize human understanding. The AI showed them how the ship manipulated space-time, how it drew energy from multiple dimensions, how it could reshape reality itself. "Your scientists have glimpsed these truths," Guardian told them, "but you lack the framework to fully understand them. Now you will build on what the ancestors discovered, taking your own path forward." Captain Walker stood on the observer's bridge, watching as engineers from both species worked together on modifications to their ships. Already, they were incorporating some of Guardian's simpler technologies, preparing for the journey home. "What happens when we return?" he asked Guardian. This knowledge will change everything. Yes, the AI agreed. As it should. Knowledge always changes those who receive it. But remember, the ship did not choose humanity because you were perfect. It chose you because you understand that power requires responsibility. Walker nodded, thinking about the message they would carry back to Earth. This wasn't just a scientific discovery or a military advantage. It was a new beginning. A chance for humanity to grow beyond the limits they had always accepted as unchangeable. As the fleet prepared to depart, Guardian created one final display, a vision of what humanity might become if they used this knowledge wisely. They saw cities that existed in harmony with nature, ships that explored the furthest reaches of the galaxy, and most importantly, a civilization that had learned to grow without destroying itself. This is not a prediction, Guardian cautioned. It is a possibility. The choice of which path you take belongs to you alone. The mysterious ship, no longer mysterious but still wonderful, took its place at the center of the combined fleet. Its hull shimmered with controlled energy as Guardian prepared to guide them home. The journey ahead would not be easy. There would be those who feared this new knowledge, who would try to control it or misuse it. But as Captain Walker looked at the humans and former enemies working side by side, he felt something he hadn't expected: hope. The warship that defied all logic had given them more than just advanced technology. It had given them a glimpse of what they could become, if they were brave enough to try.